Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Tuesday to you and your family. We're taking a look at here at Quant, QNT. Get a lot of requests for this one. I can see why. It's like the shining star in a sea of red. So for the most part, Bitcoin is correcting itself a little bit. Nothing crazy. A lot of vaults are selling off, whereas QNT is increasing. So we want to kind of see what's going on here, what we can do to kind of anticipate the next steps and really just go from there. So if you are new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I truly do love teaching people how to trade. I've been trading and teaching for over 17 years. So I have an academy, a community, and a signal group that I've created to ensure that we all stay profitable in this unique market. I mean, regardless of how up or down the market is, it's nice to be continuously profitable. So speaking of profit, if you take a quick peek here, we just closed out our BNB trade. We hit 4 profit targets out of 5 for a 59% gain in 9 hours. So it was awesome to be able to experience that with our community. After I made my gala video yesterday too, we actually took some profits from there as well, 33% in roughly 2 hours. Okay, so we only hit target 2, and the trailing take profit essentially clicked over. So for lack of better terms, the trade closed, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right? That's what we're all about, taking safe profits and making sure that we're not sorry at the end of the day. So keep up the good work, everyone. All my admins are kicking some serious tail, and a lot of great members too are just seriously doing really, really well. So thank you again for just being an amazing part of my life. Super happy to be part of that for you. And as you can kind of tell, they're using Bitget as the primary exchange. This is our exchange as a community here, where we all learn and grow together, of course, but we also benefit from a consistent price pool monthly, and essentially just really simple. You qualify with profit loss ratio and or trading volume. Makes it really easy. You do need a VPN though to keep that in mind, so if you want to benefit from that, we do have you covered there with ExpressVPN. I recently partnered with them. Been using them for years. They're fantastic. You get 3 months free with a 12-month plan. Already pretty inexpensive, but you will need that if you're planning to do any leverage trading, essentially outside the US, or depending on where you're at, certain states are restricted for leverage. So taking a look here at QNT. With some new Fibonacci retracement levels, we can kind of see here that we are working our way up and down within the Fibonacci retracement levels. Now, when I drew this Fibonacci out, I drew it from the most recent low to the most recent high. Keep in mind, I'm excluding this candle here because the candlestick hasn't closed yet. People want to know why I do that. It's because we haven't had a full 24 hours of data. What good is a daily candlestick if it hasn't closed? So that's the whole concept there. So we've got a most recent high. We'll leave that there for a little while, but generally speaking, that gives us some good parameters of what to expect. We can kind of also see a previous resistance slash support level here, really close to the 1.618 mark at about $180. So between 178 and 180 is going to be a strong resistance zone if we continue to progress higher. Now let's say we do continue higher. How much further will it go? There is a chance we could see 200 plus, but generally speaking, for now, I think we got to honor and respect that resistance level there, and just know that that's probably going to hold. There is again a resistance area here at about 2.618. At 225, where you can see the previous price action rejected out there as well. So if we do surpass 180, 225 would be the next target essentially for the highest in which the price should go in this immediate time frame. Okay. Again, keep in mind 0.618 levels are very, very strong in support and or resistance. So that holds true for the current price action here too. Say the price comes back down, we should experience no less lower than $130 because that's a very strong support level. And you can see that consistent here, right? You can see that line. We have a strong resistance level here and a strong support level here. So likelihood of it breaking below that is fairly low. Okay, so again, if you're going to focus on any Fibonacci retracement level, 0.618 is the most consistent, and you will notice that that is probably likely the most immediate support level if we were to retrace that low. I don't think 130 is likely unless Bitcoin starts dumping down to fill the CME gap somewhere in the range of about 19,900 to 21,000. We're still a little ways from that. Bitcoin is still showing a lot of strength. So QNT is showing a lot more strength. Let's go ahead and see what that means. We're breaking tentatively above 70 on the RSI, which is good, because if you can see here previously, when the price broke above 70, it was right here, and it stayed above 70 until this level here. So it had 4 days of continuation of the upside before a correction. Okay, so selling when the price gets above 70 isn't necessarily a great strategy. You want to sell when the price comes back down, to retest 70, if you will. A lot of times it can bounce, but generally speaking, that's an RSI strategy that you should consider. But great news here, we're above all moving averages here. All 3 of them are showing us we have this ascending trend. Another thing too as well, you can kind of see, and I kind of drew this out with the Fibonacci retracement levels, there is kind of an ascending trend here that's forming concurrent with the 20-day SMA and likely the 50-day SMA as well. So both those simple moving averages are going to work as tentative support levels until they don't. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that later and see if they hold. But for now, everything's looking fully bullish on the daily. Even though it is overextended, keep in mind we broke through 70 tentatively. And again, tentative is a keyword I want to emphasize because this candlestick hasn't closed yet. If we close right here at the current price point, then there's a great chance that the price, if it were to pull back, will bounce off 148 and continue higher. Okay. Once again, that'll kind of give us that bounce off of 70 on the RSI. In a perfect world, we want the price to come back down and bounce off 50 on the RSI because it commonly works as a support level, but for right now, we'll take what we can get. So on the 4 hour, what do we see here that looks pretty stark? Well, we can see, obviously, the stark reality here is that this resistance level finally got broken. So that reaffirms the fact that 148 should be a support level. You could even round up and say 150 because the price candle wick kind of hit right there. So generally speaking, 148 to 150 should be a support range where we see it bounce. We saw the exact same behavior from Gala yesterday before it bounced off of its level of 5.2 if I recall correctly, and same thing with BNB as well. It broke that key level resistance, it retested multiple times, came back down and bounced. So if we were to see a bounce, I think 148 to 150 would make the most sense, pending Bitcoin doesn't take a nosedive. Right? That always has to be a disclaimer because even though QNT is performing well, it's going to be the first altcoin to get hit hard if Bitcoin corrects itself. That's the thing you got to recognize. A lot of times alts that do break free from Bitcoin eventually align themselves with it because the simple fact that it has to have that. You have that symbiotic relationship between Bitcoin and altcoins. It's just the way that it works. But again, altcoins that are super successful when other coins are not are going to be the first target for profit. Okay, so it makes perfect sense the price is pulling back right now because Bitcoin has a little bit of a pullback. In fact, let's go ahead and take a quick peek. You can see Bitcoin, albeit very small, is still pulling back a little bit. And if we take a look at traditional markets as well, they're down by a quarter, maybe 0.1%. So, nothing significant, but they are definitely still down on the day. Okay, so that is factoring in a little bit. But just know this could very well be one of the first coins that takes some profit. Look at the RSI, you can see we're kind of testing 70 on this level here. So there's a chance for this area at 155 to hold, but it's a little too early to tell. Let's go ahead and see if there's any sequence here. We're at about 6 out of a total of 9. So hypothetically, we're about 2/3 of the way into this continuation. So in another 12 hours, there's a great chance we'll see a pullback if it doesn't do that sooner. So we're further into this overextension than we are just getting started, right? Therefore, this resistance level here at about 162 should probably hold if we continue to retest and push up higher. It makes more sense for the price to pull back and bounce off of 148 though. Just keep in mind that's a very standard kind of thing that most trades do, and you can see it here too on the daily, right? You can see how this level was tested a few times. Should be the new support. That's essentially how that's supposed to work. All right, take a look at the 1 hour. Let's go ahead and quickly peek here. We can see the clouds telling us we've got all green lights to leave our long position open. If you have a long position open, once again, roughly 12 to 24 hours, we'll see a correction here, potentially to the downside if this lagging span intersects with the price action. Okay, conversion line's above the baseline. Excuse me, that's a very, very good sign. That shows us we have good, strong momentum in the last 12 to 24 hours, and then of course we're above this line here. So the great news is if the price were to come back down, it should likely bounce off of this upper and lower lead in the cloud and essentially hold above that. You have to expect it's going to do that until it doesn't. Okay, so again, the rule about the cloud is you typically don't want to buy if the price action is trending within the cloud. So if it does come down that low, wait for it to confirm above or below, and then take entry. That's how the conservativeness of the Ichimoku cloud works. Fantastic. I do have a video on that if you're curious on how to use it. It's probably one of the best indicators you could use. It helps to use in combination with other things. So let's take a look at TD sequential here and see. We came up to a 9, retraced, got a slight reset here for about 4 hours. Now we legged up again. So it got a little bit on the greedy side here, if you ask me. We should have seen a pullback here and then leg up, but instead it continued higher, and now we're probably going to see a further decrease. So my speculation is that QNT is more likely to hit the 148 to 150 range than it is to break 161, 162. Okay, so it makes more sense for us to see a pullback in the immediate future, followed by a potential leg up from there. There's a strong likelihood of a support level at 148 to 150, and that would be a great place to potentially add to your target. Okay, so for me, I'll just go ahead and set a little bit of an alert at 150. If I get notified, I'll reevaluate and check it out. Okay, so again, that's kind of how you should do it. Never just jump in blindly because you have an alert set up. I set these alerts, reevaluate, and if it seems forgiving and appropriate at the time to get in, maybe there's an overextension to the downside, catch that dip, take some nice profits with some really tight profit targets, and then let the rest ride, okay? Usually you want to shoot for 1 or 2 targets and then allow for your trailing stop loss to kick in and move your trailing stop, or your stop loss essentially, to break even. The price pulls back, you're already in and out with 70, 80, 90% profit. Okay, so it's awesome little scenario. These are all things we continue to do in our community. So keep up the good work, everyone. Super proud of you again once more. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below. I look forward to working with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time.